Hello, everyone. Welcome to another exciting episode of CodeNinja Global, a podcast dedicated to bringing you key industry insights from some of the most influential thought leaders around the world. In today's episode, we are exploring how AI is redefining recruitment in modern digital workplaces. To help us dive deep into this concept, we are thrilled to have Mr. Abhishek Kaushik, CEO and co founder of We Create Problems, also known as VCP, and a respected member of the Forbes Technology Council. Over the past few years, VCP has revolutionized talent acquisition by harnessing the power of AI to help enterprises identify core recruitment challenges, modernizing assessment processes, and bringing enterprises and candidates together to align with organization-wide goals to innovate faster and remain relevant. So, without further ado, let's begin. Abhishek, it's a pleasure to have you here for the podcast.
Oh, it's awesome to be here. Thank you for having me.
So, to get us going, Abhishek, your work at VCP has been pivotal in reshaping how startups and Fortune 500 enterprises approach talent acquisition and management. I'm curious that what initially sparked your passion for this field. Was there any particular moment or challenge in your career that inspired you to rethink the traditional recruitment processes?
Well, yeah, there was definitely a trigger. So when I was a university grad, I was prepping for job interviews, and used to see the questions asked by top companies. They were like largely leaked on internet. So and every company used to like scrape questions and ask the same those
Yeah.
legacy questions, and there was a common pattern in the way companies were asking questions. So as a result, even the mediocre talent and the average talent used to crack through top companies, and that I was seeing able to like kind of like gauge that pretty well. And that's inspired me to sort of like hey, what if like we design new questions, new problems, and give it to
Yeah.
these recruiters and say, hey, look, now you can ask these questions, a better question than the ones that you asked. And that's how this started. And I remember our initial customer was Meta, and
Uh-huh.
Google. And I was talking to their HRs, and then we were helping them with questions to ask other engineers to hire engineers better.
Uh-huh.
And so that's how journey of VCP started, and that's why we call We Create Problems, because we wanted to create a AI software, AI platform where you can design these questions, which was otherwise completely human driven, right? It was a tedious task. So yeah, the problem of in not spotting the right talent was there in the mind, and the core reason was the lack of good quality assessments.
Yeah, that's fascinating. So, Abhishek, over the past few years, recruitment has drastically changed, especially with the widespread adoption of AI across various sectors to supercharge operational efficiency and meet organizational needs. As per a study, 88% of the company globally utilize some of the AI technology in human resources, which includes recruitment. So, in your opinion, how has AI helped to navigate talent acquisition challenges, particularly in terms of addressing skill gaps, cultural fitness, and obviously the evolving demand of the enterprises?
Yeah, great question. If you look at in nutshell, AI is democratizing the intelligence, right?
Yeah,
And earlier we used to correlate AI with solving productivity problems. Now it can help you make important decisions. So if you look
yeah,
at and if you create like recruiting is a function of efficiency and decision making, right? Because you got to make a decision in a specific time frame, and that's where you
yeah,
need to be efficient and you need to make crucial decisions. So AI, and in both these fronts, AI is helping organizations today. Is AI solving efficiency problem for recruiting? Of course, yes. You got
yeah,
sourcing, you got selection, you got interviewing, and you got onboarding. If you look at the talent acquisition workflow, and there are AI models which are specifically designed for sourcing, for selection, for interviewing and for onboarding.
yeah,
Um, it's like teacher and student model. and there are specific tools nowadays, that exist in each of these verticals, and then there are platforms as well, where
Yeah.
these functionalities exist as features. We are seeing a huge wave of recruiting AI tools. So we are almost. I think we have all, as for one of my internal survey that we've done, AI is able to solve 70 to 75% of efficiency problem in recruiting today,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Uh, by the end of or by the mid of next year, I think we'd be able to solve 90% of the efficiency problem in recruiting, right? If you look at
Yeah.
VCP as a tool, uh, we allow hiring managers and recruiters design, coding assessments, hard project-based assessments, and simple as multiple choice questions, like in fraction of minutes, right? In few minutes, you can create these assessments, which was impossible
Yeah,
earlier. It
yeah.
used to
I
take
can
like,
vouch for that, Abhishek. I can vouch. I remember initially I had to be so much dependent on the technical team
yeah.
to have the technicals develop. Now with the AI Copilot feature, which VCP has incorporated, now my team itself is able to to develop all that difficult, complex technical tests. So thank you for doing this for us.
Yeah. So at the selection stage, you see designing the subject matter,
Yeah,
designing content
yeah,
becomes super simple. But the thing is, AI also brings the challenges of reliability, right?
yeah, yeah,
Where these are reliable tests, not reliability, validity, integrity. All of these are nuances where AI needs to be measured well.
yeah,
Leaders need to take like important decisions about how do they want to implement AI. So but 90% of the efficiency problem will get solved, right?
yeah,
And the next thing is about solving decision making problem, which is like
yeah,
not help give humans like enough evidences, so that they don't need to surf through all the data points and make decisions, rather like make decision making easier.
yeah,
uh, yeah, is already doing that. There are data orchestration systems now. You can bring in this entire data of from the recruiting, different stages of recruiting, and bring in front of the decision makers. Uh, should decision maker rely on AI to make decisions? Right now, no. If you're recruiting people, if you're making a important career decision for someone, it's always important to have the human in the loop, human oversight over what AI
yeah,
is exactly suggesting. So I think the blend of human oversight and the
yeah.
right AI strategy in place is the way forward.
Yeah, yeah, I'm sure, I'm sure. So, Abhishek, I'm sure the audience would love to know about the origins of VCP. So if you could tell us that before VCP became the platform it is today, there must have been a pivotal moment or realization that set everything in motion. While AI plays a significant role in your platform now, we would love to hear about the fundamental elements that laid the background to VCP's origins beyond just the technology. What was the driving force behind the creation of VCP for you?
So the most important thing that we wanted to invent, through VCP was designing problem statements, questions, coding
Yeah,
questions, hard Olympiad level problems, programming challenges, and even projects like job simulation projects, and we were highly focused on technical streams that point in time. There was a NP hard problem because to design a correct challenge, or a puzzle or a program, somebody needs to test it, right? And you have an AI setter strategy, and you need to have an AI tester strategy. So and both needs to talk to each other to kind of approve the work of setting and testing. Now, as a technology, we were trying to automate this process, like with minimal human intervention. How
yeah,
can
yeah,
a interviewer create a coding challenge? How can a recruiter create a screening challenge? Right. So that's how that was a important problem that we wanted to solve through AI. And then you saw a huge, massive GPT
yeah,
revolution happening,
yeah.
transformers in picture, and then we navigated our entire architecture towards transformers. We started
Uh-huh.
leveraging the frontier models that exist today. We built our own systems as well in place to kind of like build a much more comprehensive solution which ensures reliability and validity, most importantly, because frontier models do make mistakes, and we wanted to reduce as much as we can. uh,
Yeah.
so inspiring moment for building VCP was definitely the AI love, wanted to excitement to build something which has not been built before, right? And that was the crucial moment. And when we saw that we could find good results and we were able to impact our customers through that, and that was like delightful moment, because um,
Yeah.
customers were actually getting impacted in a positive way, and then they were leveraging VCP for the wider good. I remember a customer wanted to conduct a hackathon with 100,000 people, right? And that massive hackathon, and they managed to turn up like 80,000 people already in that
My
hackathon.
God.
And they wanted to design about 400 coding challenges, and the time frame was like about like a week time. Imagine 400 coding challenges getting designed in a week's time by humans. It's impossible, because coding
Yeah.
are pretty
Yeah.
that they requires a very stringent amount of reviews. VCP did it like in 3 days, right?
Oh,
We could do that with minimal human intervention. We completed that in 3 to 4 days roughly, and we could go big bang. So it's a huge innovation, in what we see today as part of VCP. So yeah,
oh
that was a delightful moment. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, that's equally fascinating for us as listeners. So Abhishek, it's clear that VCP was built on a strong foundation of technology, innovation, and problem solving. Now let's talk about what sets VCP apart. Since the platform caters to a wide range from agile startups to Fortune 500 giants, what makes VCP uniquely suited to addressing the diverse needs of such a varied organizations?
Yeah. Our core mission statement is simple, that we want to help businesses identify the talent that they deserve to work with, right? And when
Yeah,
we see, we are helping companies find talent that they deserve to work with. It's definitely a hyper matching problem, which is hyper contextual matching problem. um, do we provide candidates? No, we provide a software where candidates are brought in by companies, and companies have a layer of filtration, layer of
yeah,
assessments, to figure out who is the best for their business. Now, several experiments have been done to solve this matching problem in the past. um, if you look at resume matching, if you look
yeah,
at test-based matching, um, most of these matching problems couldn't really solve the core business problem of our customers. If you see, Google existed to Google hired majority of their top talent because they wanted to solve search problem. And if you look
yeah,
at Google interviews, majority of the Google interviews were designed aligned or aligned towards solving search,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
Of Meta, in the initial days, they were building their talent team, and they wanted to solve this problem of graphical networks. Like they wanted to plot the entire planet on a
yeah,
graph, right?
yeah,
And then they wanted those talent who understand those graphs better. And if you look at today, the hiring managers need a talent who can solve, specific business problems really well.
mm,
So that demands having good understanding of foundational knowledge,
yeah,
which are fundamentals, plus, problem solving skills in the context of the customers, which is in the
yeah,
context of customers industry, customer segment, customers, core business offering, right?
yeah, yeah,
Um,
yeah,
Today, if you just say, if you're a Netflix recruiter and you just say, hey, on VCP, design a coding challenge for Netflix, software development role, you know, and this particular talent is going to work with infrastructure teams. So he needs to know a lot about, high latency problem and solve very
yeah,
specific. VCP can design assessments in few seconds for you. And
yeah,
then now when this assessment and this filter mechanism is used in your hiring process, what you get is highly curated talent
Yeah. Yeah.
who's really good at that. So we're trying to create this hyper contextual matching solution. At the same time, keep the candidate experience up, right? At the same time, make sure the candidate gets an environment where they can demonstrate their skills in a user friendly way, in a very simple way,
Yeah. Yeah.
you know be more empathetic towards candidate, because a lot of these hyper contextual problem candidate may not know in advance that how should they
Yeah.
grow, how should they prepare or not prepare. So VCP does a lot of nudges
Yeah.
before customer sends an assessments to these candidates as well. And VCP ensures that candidates are nurtured, they're warmed up, they have
Yeah.
enough contexts and materials to prep, etc., so they can go and solve hyper contextual problem for businesses. So yeah, the future is about finding the top talent and talent who can solve business problems and not just be known for with a job role. Yeah.
Yeah, so I must vouch for it, Abhishek, since we keep interacting with the candidates, and they say speak high about the experience they are having with VCP. So kudos to you and the team at the platform. So
Okay.
Abhishek, let's talk about some of the adoption challenges, right? We have seen notable common misconceptions and concerns about AI and applications for enterprises. A recent report suggests that about 35% of recruiters worry AI might exclude candidates with unique skills and experiences. As VCP leverages AI in recruitment, what are some of the common misconceptions or challenges you have encountered regarding AI adoption? How does your platform address these concerns to ensure a fair and comprehensive evaluation of the candidates?
Yeah, great question. So if you look at one first principle answer to why AI adoption has some kind of hesitation and barrier, right, especially in decision making process, is the explainability,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
Users want explainability to make a decision, like why are you suggesting something that you're suggesting. With humans, that's very easy, because
yeah,
humans, you have multiple factors to kind of like trust humans. But then with AI, AI needs to have a strong explainability criteria in its outcomes, which improves adoption. So with VCP, the initial challenges that we saw was when you're generating these assessments, you know are you fetching these data from internet, which could be wrong, which could be not be reliable, which could be biased, etc. Or are you doing some special
yeah,
kind of like functionalities that you build in your platform that ensures that these questions are reliable, right? They don't contain biases. How do you mitigate those biases? And these were our initial concerns with
yeah,
customers. So um, another concern that they raised was the reliability of these assessments, right? Because when you're generating AI is really good at solving the validity problem, because it can tell you, if you say today to AI that, hey, generate a assessment for developer role, it will generate for developer role. But will all developer be able to solve this, regardless of the
yeah,
circumstances? Will reliability be ensured? There is a lot of factor that you need to ensure. So we build our system in such a way that reliability and validity is ensured. we
yeah,
uh, we fix simple things. For example, if you have data and you plot on a bell curve, for reliability check, it's very simple to know if your assessment results, if a question that you're using and the assessment results fall on a bell curve, and then you can find reliability. So we offer these tools to our customers to check and then and adopt AI. So when they saw that results were reliable, and they saw their assessments were valid, and they saw that the talent that they're getting is actually a high performer, right?
yeah, yeah,
then then the process is trustable, because
yeah,
then your outcomes are in
yeah,
favorable, process is trustable. And it took us time initially to sort of like improve the adoption, but We had to go customer by customer, measure their outcome, backtrack to the process and say, hey, look, this is the process that we followed. You got an outcome. If we do it, if you scale this, you're again gonna get the consistent outcomes. And that's how we, kind of like educated our customers. But it was all, hyper education program to each customer. We had to meet them, we had to, convince them. But as it takes off, the early adopters takes, most of the burden on them for adoption. But
Yeah.
laggards like usually needs more convincing. But now we are in a position where, with case studies and other customers example, users are adopting AI pretty well.
So yeah, so there comes with another question, Abhishek, that so there's a process where you take a customer on board, right? And once they start using it, does your team get back to them and see that how the candidates or the employees who have come, who have got to BCP's platform are performing? So I'm sure you people must have plot the data against that too, post
Yes.
taking VCP on board.
Yeah, we do that. So at times we get integrated with ATS and HRMS system of the customers. That's one way to figure out if the person was hired or not. And when we integrate, VCP gets to know if the person was hired or not. Sometimes we ask our customers directly through
Yeah,
QBRs and MBRs, which is
yeah,
like business reviews, and we ask them, hey, you seem to have shortlisted these many people. Could you hire,
yeah,
or you hired like 6 months ago? How are they performing right now?
yeah.
And we kind of this is a survey based process right now, but we're trying to automate this through integrations.
Yeah, that's great. That's great. I would love to be part of it that too in coming months, hopefully. So, Abhishek, VCP has had an incredible journey, marked by milestones like being backed by NVIDIA, building a clientele base of over 800 companies, and assessing more than 2 million candidates as of now. These achievements clearly highlight the platform's significant impact and growth. So, could you please delve deeper into these milestones? How have they shaped VCP's evolution, and what role has your partner ecosystem played in reaching these milestones?
Yeah. So if you look at the growth trajectory of VCP, we started as a question development tool, an AI tool which can allow you design this question. Then we built, the entire evaluation, environment in the same platform, and we became
Yeah,
a question designing plus conducting assessments platform. Today, you write a prompt and you can conduct, skill assessments in a reliable and valid way. In this journey, the first partner were our customers, because it's the customers, which has made VCPs possible today. All our enterprise customers, and we were enterprise focused since beginning. So all of our enterprise customers, they adopted VCP early on. They saw the future. They knew that this is coming, and skill assessments will get a huge leap forward. So it was all enterprise customers contribution, and then slowly we integrated with a lot of partners. So we integrated with ATS tools, we integrated with HRMS tools. uh, you know
hmm,
they were very popular partners that we
hmm,
partnered to today. And they distribute VCP through their channels,
yeah,
to bring customers, and they use VCP in their own homegrown environment as well.
hmm,
So the customers and the partners were crucial to our journey. And most importantly, the third one, which I don't want to miss, was candidates. Because candidates, today, we are really thrilled to see that candidates love the experience so much that they don't need to remember our platform. Like
yeah,
it's so intuitive that they log into the platform and they don't need any practice environment. So it's easy and simple to
yeah.
understand, and they write about this on social media. So we love that feedback. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm sure there's a great feedback from the candidates themselves. So before we get to our last question, Abhishek, we are seeing a growing trend of enterprises that are interested in countries like Pakistan and India to set up their global capability centers, right? Tapping into the emerging talent from these regions. How impactful do you feel VCP can be into supporting this shift? What role does the platform play in helping enterprise harness the potential of their talent in growing economies and contributing to their long-term success?
Awesome, great question. So if you look at today, about 40% of our customers use VCP to identify talent for capability centers, and across United States, India, and some other countries in Asia. So another one big learning and insight that I have seen is that because clients wants to solve problem, the capability centers, they want to offer good staff, good talent, so that the problem can be solved quickly in the best way possible.
Yeah,
Majority of these use cases are ensuring that you deploy the right talent to the right customer for the right time, right? So you need to have an agile system, you need to have a flexible system which can spot the right talent for the right project at the right time, from within your talent pool, and that system need to work reliably and quick.
yeah,
um, uh, this is the fundamental ask that I've seen capability centers having. The time is a crucial problem because you have to quickly, deploy talent to your customers, and and the only proof of uh, conviction, that is like
yeah,
whether this talent deserves a placement, a deployment, or not, is skills. You need to
yeah,
like really validate skill that you can prove and then back on. And skill assessment tool is very crucial for that, because if you can demonstrate that this person can build things, you just deploy that to customers, because customers like builders. One important thing that we are trying to do now is, because AI can code but AI cannot build, right?
yeah,
And
yeah,
majority of our GCC clients, we are doing education program to them that, hey, look, when you talk to your customers, it's important to present building capability rather than coding capabilities, right? and
yeah, yeah,
and VCP has this assessments called project based assessment, which actually works like a building assessment, right? It can assess talent on building. For example, are you able to build a front end plus back end systems, or are you able to build a data science system, or able to build a data engineering workflow, for AI project, or are you able to build projects on generative AI, integrate open AI, build some application, etc. How would you evaluate these skills
yeah,
automatically? You need a system for that, and that's what we are helping our GCC customers. I think the way forward is the same, that these most of the capability centers would require uh, builders assessment more than coding assessment, especially in the
yeah,
tech sector, which where they need, and that's what we're excited about. So we're excited to you know create building assessment, project based assessments for across all different skills in technology and IT sectors. So
yeah.
that's, we are looking forward to support them.
Yeah, that's great. So basically, when we talk about agility and my own experience with VCP, the short experience from connecting with your team to taking VCP on board, and now to this long-term partnership, I can see the agility, right? So when we started off, there were different features. With another call, there were different features, and when we were closing the deal, there were different features. I can see that the speed, the agility in the system and the platform itself. So looking ahead, what's next for VCP? Could you please share any features, add-ons in the pipeline, and how you envision the platform evolving over the next few years? Additionally, how do you see the needs of your users and outcomes of the recruitment changing as the industry outcomes to evolves?
Awesome. Right now, we are heads on two things. One is they how today, if you look at the bigger challenge that we face in assessment is cheating, and
Yeah,
you know AI can like be such a good friend to candidates, and it can do anything. So the first problem that we're trying to solve, and you can see that feature coming up very soon,
yeah,
launching Sherlock. It's a AI proctor which goes and sits in the candidates systems, and it will monitor uh, you know the entire set of activities that the candidates do, and it will ensure that candidates can't cheat, and ensure that candidates, if they're finding they're doing misconducts, it detects, and it quietly, it works like a true Sherlock, like
yeah,
solves the case and tries to find who is the actual culprit. So we are working on that. You will see that feature live very soon. And that's number one that we're working on. And number two thing that we're working on is collaboration, which is today, if you select a talent on VCP, and you shortlist them, and you find that you need to make a decision about that candidate, you got to bring in your head of recruiting or other
Yeah.
stakeholder or hiring manager. We have seen that our customers struggle with exporting the reports and sharing it, and
Yeah.
then you know
Yeah.
attaching it to others, and then it's quite fragmented. So that conversation to make a decision is fragmented.
Yeah.
So future you'll be able to bring all the stake, like you can just mention your stakeholders on VCP platform. You can do conversation. It's like Slack inside VCP, right? So you can do that, and then it will also notify them on your internal communication tools. So you'll notify them on Teams, you'll notify them on Slack, notify them
Yeah.
over
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
in one central place to do a conversation about a candidate. So you got a candidate, you open the chat option on that candidate, and then you can do decision making conversation on that candidate. So that's the second feature we're bringing in.
That's fascinating. Yeah. And
Not
brutal on the candidates too.
yeah.
So, yeah, thank you, Abhishek, for such an interesting and enlightening conversation. We have covered so much today on the future of the recruitment and AI. I'm sure our listeners will be as inspired as I am about what's to come. Thank you. Thank you for being here for
Pleasure.
us.
Thank you for having me. Thanks
Thank
for
you.
having me.